first day where they are attempting to have 25% occupancies in some restaurants. Many restaurants, particularly the ones that I work with, are actually going to be staying closed in the traditional sense and still doing takeout and carry out. But I know that if you have spoken to me in the last couple of weeks, and really in general, the one thing that I really enjoy during these times when the weather's getting warmer is Riesling. I have spoken about Riesling before. If you have checked early, hey Doug, if you've checked earlier, I showed on video how to open bottles of wine, traditional cork enclosures, with a wine key, and I'll have that posted as well. And so today I just wanted to talk about Riesling because I think that Riesling, as beautiful and wonderful as I believe it is, definitely sees a little bit of weird common misconceptions. For example, that it is always sweet. And while some Riesling is sweet, and we'll talk about that, not all Riesling is. So I'm just gonna hop over real quick and we'll get this party started. I hope everyone has something in their glass at the moment. I know for me, I definitely do have a glass of Riesling. Today we actually opened up a new bottle of Riesling from California, San Luis Obispo, and it's actually from a winery in California that we found because my boyfriend's last name is Cutrozola, and related to him is the Cutrozola family, who are now creating wine, predominantly Pinot Noir and Riesling, both of which are some of my favorites. So hold on just one second. I'm tuning in to make sure I can see comments because I know previously I've missed them and missed you guys. Hold on just one second. There we go. It's all about just getting situated, people. When it works well. Creating wine, predominantly Pinot Noir, and there we go. Tiny bit of a delay, but at least now I can see messages and sign-ons. Cool. Graphics, good to go. Awesome, good. So, Riesling was actually from the Rhine region in Germany. All grapes originate basically in kind of that major continent that is everywhere from like Mesopotamia, Fertile Crescent, all the way through to most of the modern grapes in Europe. We actually use predominantly American rootstocks because they have kind of a waxy outside, and that way pests like phylloxera that wiped out most of the roots from around the world will not really interact with the American rootstock that it's on. But really high in acid. So this is really golden in color. We're a bit like warmer climate here, but with Riesling, we grow Riesling in many places other than Germany. In France, one of the most famous places is Alsace. I love a wine called Clos Saint-Hune from the region. Trimbach's an incredible producer. There are amazing Rieslings being produced in the New World as well, and that's predominantly what I'm going to talk about today. I worked and went to school in the Finger Lakes region of New York, and so there really got my feet wet in terms of Riesling production, and especially cooler climates. I'll open the cat. So Chad actually mentioned this very fun Rheinhessen Riesling. It's super fun. I actually don't know the producer's name. Chad, if you can find that, good luck. Super fun, super cool, and really great in packaging. If you can notice, we've spoken a lot about the shapes of bottles. So what's a lot of fun is, like you can see here, we have Australian Riesling, American Riesling, two different kinds of German Rieslings. This from the Mosel, one of the most famous places for Riesling. They have this really beautiful slate. Ooh, and super exciting. This cat is super fun, really, really easy to drink. I'm not going to open him today, Chad. Next time you are hanging out, we'll pop this baby open. But it comes in a bunch of colors too. There's a Black Cat Riesling with kind of a matte black bottle, really cool and interesting. These bottles are actually like Alsatian in style and very, very common with Riesling. They're generally a little bit taller than the average wine bottle. For perspective, here's like a typical bottle versus you're about a whole cap over. So kind of cool. And one of my favorites. Riesling is generally spoken about in terms of level of ripeness in Germany. So there have been efforts to make statements on the bottle that kind of allow you to understand where on the sweetness level it lies, but it's kind of a combination of knowing what the ripeness level means and knowing the producer, because some can have a little bit more sugar than others. Naturally, the more ripe, the more sugar. So that's one thing to always look out for. Of course, Riesling overall comes in various shapes, sizes, and ages. It's very ageable. But the one thing that we almost never do and never see is adding oak influence. So we really like the floral aromatics and really beautiful, beautiful nose that comes from Riesling naturally. You don't see a lot of intervention when it comes to oak with Riesling. I have seen like Chardonnay Riesling blends that may have a little bit of oak, but generally speaking, you won't really see an oaked Riesling. One of the most beautiful things about Riesling as well is everywhere that it's grown is very distinctly different. Particularly with the Mosel, we talk a lot about that petrol, and we see that also in our Eden Valley Riesling with Penfolds, the Bin 51, even more so. We are currently doing discussions with the Penfolds ambassadors globally where we get 20 minutes once a week to kind of chat and one person presents. And this week coming up, I'll be discussing Bin 51 Riesling with the other Rieslings of the world and how we consume them in America. Riesling's a really great alternative to Pinot Grigio if you're looking for something a little bit more adventurous. It's a little bit more weighty generally as well. So we love, love, love Riesling with spicy foods. It is definitely one of my favorites overall. And when it comes down to it, I think that the biggest surprise is that it is very versatile. So of course we talk about spicy foods, but Riesling actually goes well with a large variety because of its high acid structure. Really beautiful stone fruits. And in terms of where you can get some of the bottles today, Orange Cat comes from Total Wine, although I've seen it in a couple of other places in New York. And when it comes to the Richter, this is Max Richter's Mosel Zeppelin label. Really beautiful Qualitätswein, so very, very simple, easy drinking in style, and definitely one of my favorites. We're opening today the Kutcherzola Vineyards, and I've only seen this, of course, direct from the winery. They do ship. So we got that within a week. And of course, the Penfolds Bin 51. That's at a couple of places throughout the city. The W Hotel in Austin, Eberly in Austin, here at Oishi in Dallas, and a couple of other places. You'll see it here and there. It's a bit special, and we don't make a huge amount of it, but it's one of our single regions as well. So generally with Penfolds, we talk a lot about multi-region blending and style, but Eden Valley is kind of the core of what we do with Penfolds Riesling. We do have kind of a couple of other iterations in the winery in Australia, but generally here, that's our go-to. Hold on just one second. I have questions. So, is all Riesling sweet? No, I will say again, the best thing, there we go. The best thing about Riesling is it comes in all forms, from very, very sweet dessert style of wine. Ice wine can be from as well, Riesling that has actually passed the point where it's getting so cold, ice is forming around the grapes, and that's a really beautiful dessert wine. And then the last thing that I want to show you guys today in kind of our short little segment is sparkling Riesling. So while last week we had champagne at the top of mind, the one thing that is super exciting about German's sparkling wine production is what we call Sekt. It's made in the same kind of style as champagne in terms of how the production is, but it's made 100% out of Riesling. One thing that's really worth mentioning, it says dry in English on this label, but in the back it says Sekt. And so when you see Sekt, S-E-K-T, that's actually meaning that it's going to be drier in style. So if you're looking for dry Riesling, that's the way to do it. If you're into champagne and you really kind of want to adventure out into the other sparkling wines of the world, this is one of the most amazing ways to start. The UK also makes really interesting sparkling wines right now, but there's nothing to celebrate like today. So I think sparkling wine is definitely something that we can drink every day and with everything. So thanks so much for tuning in today, and we'll catch you next week with a really kind of walked through tasting of both our Bin 51 and our Bin 389. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Cheers.